Well, this isn't going to be a talk about Rolfing. It's basically my mystical experiences I've had with IDA. And the theme, since you're yoga people, and yoga means union, the theme is going to be around wholeness and union. We're going to kind of meander around about that. Now, is everybody know a little bit about Rolfing? If they don't, I could say a few words.
Will you just say a couple words from your perspective? I know a little bit from what Ann said.
I don't know very much.
Okay, well, Rolfing was founded by Dr. Rolf, who got her PhD in 1927. Ida's her first name. She's a woman. She was forbidden to go for a PhD by her father. So she's probably the first feminist, you know. And her PhD was in biochemistry. No lightweight. This was a very brilliant lady. She was a very powerful, charismatic lady, like a Zen master. No nonsense. You people would be sitting absolutely straight. I doubt if these outfits would be appropriate. You'd be sitting very straight with your hair piled on top of your head, looking very prim and proper. And you would not say one word. It was just power poured out of her. When she smiled, you thought heaven at you. You thought heaven opened. And when she was not happy with you, it was black and bad. So anyway, her whole thing was she believed a man or person, woman, I'm just going to use the word man so I don't get confused. A man or a human being was built around a line. Like some people believe a person's built around a mind, a gut, different kinds of things. And now this line she found to be what it's called, she found it, I won't get too long in the story, but she found the gravity line. And gravity is a universal force. So she says a man is built around a core, a gravity line that's a core that, so basically she was about connecting the small field, that's us, to the larger field of gravity or the universe. That would be a form of union. This is getting pretty esoteric. Basically, just to get down to the practical level, people come in, lay down at a table, and you mold the body with your hands, like very fancy, sophisticated, expensive deep tissue work, you know. And so you build this line. That's about it. Is that enough?
Sure.
You lay down at a table, you get, you know, pushed around. Okay.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, it's cool. Well, she used to also say, how did she say? She said it to us and we thought we understood. She says, you do not know how beautiful Rolfing is. We thought we did. You know what I mean? People would sit in class crying with tears going down their face. Just so marvelous.
Sorry, is the point of it to create alignment or
Posture. You put it that way. So you have good posture. Like, you help with bowed legs, swayed backs, you know, like models all have swayed backs, you know. Runners are always skinny and have their shoulders up here. Stuff like that, you know. So here's the part you probably like, part of it anyway. She studied tantric yoga for 10 years with a guy who, at the age of 19, his teacher sent him away. She studied tantric yoga. Now, in those days, she said she went to yoga camps. Not these nice cruises, I take it. You know?
We didn't go on a nice cruise. We didn't do a nice
Yeah, I don't think this was the style. I think it was pretty tough. Anyway, so I'll just talk about how she got started, just one little story, and I'm only talking about it because we're going to talk about wholeness. So she had a couple kids, and at some point she wanted them to learn piano. So there was a piano teacher who had arthritic hands, and couldn't teach anymore. So Ida said, I'll tell you what, I'll fix your hands if you teach the kids. So she probably started with yoga postures. You know, it sounds like that was in the beginning. She was never very
This is like the early 1900s area?
In the 30s probably. Because she got her PhD in 27, so I don't think she had kids yet then. She was always very not forthcoming about any of the stuff, you know. basically she didn't remember, kind of. She says, how do you know? You just get going, and then, people want to know stuff.
No focus on the past, right?
Yeah, she did. And besides, she didn't like talking about anything personal. It was all Rolfing, That would be, you would not want to be questioning her. This was not allowed,
This
of
is
course.
stuff you gathered over how much time?
What?
The information you have about her is what you personally gathered over 20 years, 10 years, just by being around her.
Long time. I'm an old-time Rolfer.
Oh, I know. So you gathered this information because you're saying she wasn't very forthcoming. You couldn't sit down.
Well,
and have
these
a
stories are
conversation.
known. These are not secret stories.
Okay. So
This stuff's kind of known, and there's more stories. I'm just going to touch it a little bit, only because, okay. So anyway, she probably started with yoga postures, and right from the beginning, now this is a key point, she always worked with the whole body. I mean, right now, people don't do that. If you go to the doctor, you have they work piecemeal. She started working with the whole body day one. So whether somehow she got that idea. It was just boom. That was called holistic healing, back in the 70s before it became good business,
Yeah.
So now also, I suspect since she had 10 years of, tantric yoga, I think by this time, she also not only, so we're talking about wholeness, but here we have just the person she was working in wholeness. I suspect, from watching her work in later years, she knew how to merge with the person, too. So that's more of a union. We're going to keep talking about wholeness and union. Some of them will just be little ones, and then we have the grand one, the silent, So, because I used to watch her work, and she'd be talking to the secretary, crank it away on somebody, and then all of a sudden everything would change. And she'd be right there, and then it'd be over, and she'd go talking to the secretary again. So she would go in and out of it. She was very active, I mean, she always had a lot going on. It was not, she'd pick on you for a while, then, 3 more people she would be doing, and where's the secretary, and, send 3 people off to the hardware store all to buy screwdrivers, Okay, so now here's another yoga story. This is I'm going to jump years, so this is in 1973. I'm in my first class with her. And so she brings in a demonstration person. Turns out he's a yogi in a loincloth. I didn't know anything about yoga in those days especially, but I mean, loincloth and whatever, okay. He's probably a guy from India or something like that, has been doing yoga 50 years. Now, what was really interesting here, I only remember one thing about it, was that the back bend, a standing back bend, if you watch most people, I'm just going to exaggerate it, they don't go like that, they go something like this. In other words, there's a break in the lumbars. Everybody gets their range by breaking in the lumbar somewhere. So this guy probably could stand on his head, I mean, from whatever. By the time she got done with him, he was like this. That's it. That's the posture. No further. Now, what she was doing, though, was opening his core. She was not going for the flesh, the radical movement. She was going for the maximum length of the core. A man is built around the body, that gravity line. She was making the line the maximum length. So she was lengthening his core. Most of us have a compression model, so you want to lengthen the core.